But it is specifically 11:05 a.m. on October 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a relatively simple question for you.
What's that?
The Commanders are now 3-4. First time they've been under 500 in the Dan Quinn era since week 2, 2024. So that's what? 16 plus 6? That's 22 games since they've been 500. Under 500. The fact that they were able to sustain a 3-game losing streak last year and still not go under 500 speaks to how different these seasons have gone. They're on a 2-game losing streak right now and are under 500. The question is relatively simple. I fear the answer is not, but the question is simple. What has happened here?
What has happened? Injuries has happened. I think stubbornness has happened. I think the balls that bounced last year aren't bouncing their way. It's simple things. I also believe that a bunch of people are waiting for somebody else to do the job. When last year, guys were stepping up to do the job. When people talk about things, they say, failure normally shows people's true character. I think success shows people true character. If you're failing and you're a competitor, you're going to work your way to get out of that. When you have success, do you keep working hard? Most times, most people don't, right? I would say this. I'm not speaking 100%, but there are some people who probably are resting on the laurels of what they did last year. They're happy about what happened last year. And you know my little saying, that damn rearview mirror is smaller than that damn windshield, right?
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is that most people get back to putting in work and go meet the great possibilities of what's in front and don't give a damn about that one successful year that happened last year. And there are guys that are trying to lead the way, but they can't do it by themselves. They need other people to come along. But as much as we will speak on, and this no players would say this, and that's not for them to say. When you lose particular people, it affects your game. So you have to adjust. Coaching, players, you have to adjust to trying to get some level of results. You can't sit there and try to do what you thought you were going to do when you had everybody in place. Everybody's not in place anymore. So now you got to step up. And how do you step up? You put more work into it. You put more study into it. You dedicate yourself. You sacrifice some other stuff you want to do to make sure you are at your absolute best to get back to where you want to be. From what I'm watching on the field, that obviously is not happening off the field. And like I said yesterday, every guy, this team, I'm pulling for them. I love them because I want to see them do well. But damn it, you got to hear the truth sometimes. This does not seem like last year. The energy doesn't seem like last year. The drive doesn't seem like last year. Were they happy and content with what happened last year? Or do you want to make this thing into a long-lasting thing? See, I've always didn't mind becoming like the seed of something. But a seed is not just planted, it has to be nurtured, which means you got to do that for some years. Then as the roots begin to, fit, that you have a great foundation, this thing will last for a long time. We need a little bit more from every person on the team, coaches included, to get to where we got to go. Accountability is the number one thing in the world. And if you are holding yourself accountable, you have a right to hold other people accountable. But if you're not holding yourself accountable, you got to shut the hell up.
I mean, that was really well said. That was really well said. Circling back to what has changed with the Commanders, what, if any, credence do you give to the league got a year of tape on Jaden?
I don't give much credence to that. The league got not a lot of tape on Josh Allen. The league got a lot of tape on Lamar. The league got a lot of tape on Pat Mahomes. They still perform. But you know what has to happen? You have to adjust. You have to reassess. You have to move forward. I think that can happen. I believe we go into games and we know the team is not good against the run. And yeah, they put 8 people in the box. Don't mean you can't run. Don't mean you shouldn't be able to run. And it damn sure don't mean that you shouldn't be able to use something off of the run. Since they got 8 people up tight, they only have 3 people deep. There's a lot of space behind those other 8.
Well, and I can't
You should be able to capitalize off of that.
stress enough that in these scenarios, I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, Cowboys head coach, after the game said, yeah, you know, our film study and our analytics showed this was a good opportunity for us to play man. Not zone, like they had been playing the majority in Dallas.
There are people where you run an offense and you hear that they have a lot of zone breaking routes in there. And you got the man buster. Man, when you run man, you know what you do? Run crossing routes. When you run man, you run crossing routes against them, and they got to go over the top, underneath, and they lose the guy that's running. The crossing route. When you want to run zone, you got to cross some face and bring somebody over the top of them. That's all you do.
I can't stress enough that when Brian Schottenheimer says, all right, we ran a lot of man in this game because it was our film study and our analytics. It also might have been that they had 4 active wide receivers on the roster, and the one that performed the best in that game was 32-year-old Robbie Chosen, who was out of the league a month prior.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to stack the box when you don't consider the guys on the outside a real threat, and that's what Jaden's been dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, that is a real part to this thing.
When people say they got more film on them, the league has more film on the people that he's working with too. If like this is what I mean. When I was talking to Dave earlier, a lot of what I'm trying to say is some people got to step up and grow up. Yeah, the other team is looking at you saying you guys can't do it. You got to show them that you can. Because if you keep falling under that can't do it, you know the man calling your plays is not going to have confidence to call the plays. It happens like that. Like I know I heard people say, well, he was off on some passes. But I watch guys get stuck in a route instead of bang coming out of the route. If you bang come out the route, you run right into the football. But when you have to do that roll and you go upfield a little farther, you're 2 yards short. And it's growth. But the ultimate thing is, right now, people, you're going to lose a little something when you don't have the people that you built this offense around.
What's it like being a player, B, this week where you have the extra day to kind of sit in a bad loss?
You just can't wait to get back on the practice field and get back on the game field to play. When you have nothing going on, you sit there and that's all you think about. But once you get that game plan for the next week, things begin to get all focused on the next week. Many people will tell you after the game, enjoy one day and then move. That's if you got a practice coming real soon, you could do that. But if you don't have a practice coming like that next day or the day following, you start to look back into it. And I believe the good ones focus on it and look at what they did wrong and how they can correct their thing, and then they go in and attack it. There's others who look back on what they did wrong and they find excuses as to why they did it wrong, and they blame others. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I think the best way to do anything, look at it, deal with it, address it, and keep going. And if you sit there and you try to not deal with it, make excuses about it, it stays. Just like, there are people who like to clean their house, but they take shortcuts. Somebody rushing over, they lift the rug up, they sweep the dust under the rug. In all essence, that damn dust is still in your house, right?
Right.
And somebody gonna come in there, maybe a little thicker dude or somebody might step on that carpet and that dust come from under the carpet. You didn't solve the problem just by sweeping it into a dustpan, throwing it out the damn house. Guys have to approach football the same damn way. get rid of it. So you get rid of it by addressing, dealing with, and just dispose it.
I thought, of all people, Chris Paul had an awesome answer in the postgame locker room. It was just like, look, man, we got to watch this tape, and it's going to suck for a lot of us. But we've got to watch it and learn and get better.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine those film sessions were much fun. Mm-hmm. Like, what's that defensive room like watching that?
Man, listen, you have already gone through it before you see the film. You know what the hell you did, what you didn't do. When guys finish a game, you know, the one thing I laugh at every time, like, I gotta look at the film. You know what you did. When a guy has a great game, does he say you have to look at the film? Or did he tell you? When guys have great games, let me see, when we have great games, put myself in it, we can tell you every damn thing that happened, what we were thinking, why we did it, what we saw. When we have a bad game, we got to watch the film. You know what? We can tell you all that stuff too.